Double J, Jeff Jarrett, here to tell you a little bit about the nonstop savings happening over here at SaveWithConrad.com. Are high credit card balances holding you down on the card? If you're looking to give a guitar shot to your credit card debt or give your home the push it deserves with some upgrades and remodeling, you need to go to SaveWithConrad.com. That's right, SaveWithConrad.com. Conrad and his team are routinely helping my world listeners save $500, $600, $700, even $800 a month. Oh, did I mention you get to skip your next 2 house payments? Take a cue from the last outlaw, because if anybody knows how to get the bag, it's me. Strut on over to SaveWithConrad.com today and see how much money you can save for free. That's right, it's SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to Grilling JR with the voice of wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross. And today, we're honoring the late, great Iron Sheik. We're doing a little throwback to the OG Jim Ross podcast, The Ross Report, where he had the one and only Iron Sheik on. Him and Jim are going to talk about Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, Verne Gagne, working in Oklahoma, and of course the Portland, Oregon territories, getting clean and sobering up. And of course, they talk about the documentary that was coming out at the time. This is back in 2014. I believe the Iron Sheik documentary is available now on Amazon, put together by my pals, the Magen boys. They're going to give you a inside or maybe behind the scenes look at the making of the documentary, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, features everyone from Hulk Hogan to The Rock, and they talk about The Rock specifically. You'll even hear the Iron Sheik's take on Brock Lesnar in the WWE and CM Punk in the UFC. Pretty timely episode, given that we just lost the Iron Sheik. Jim and I will be back talking all things Clash of the Champions next week here on the program. But I can't tell you how excited I am to pay tribute to the Iron Sheik here today. He's one of the few guys that I never had the chance to meet, but what a fascinating individual. And I understand that if you just know of the Iron Sheik in the more recent years, there was a lot of fun, a lot of ha-ha. And maybe you grew up as a wrestling fan, but you were closer to my age and you didn't get to see sort of peak Sheik. But what an icon. You know, so many people, their first introduction to professional wrestling, the Iron Sheik was the epitome of the heel. I mean, if you grew up as a fan when the WWF first went national and you were first getting LJN action figures, you didn't just get a Hulk Hogan figure. Hulk Hogan had to beat up on somebody. Who better than the Iron Sheik? But of course, we all know, and you'll learn more about if you watch this documentary, the Iron Sheik was a legit badass man. A one-of-a-kind, an absolute Hall of Famer. Glad that we get to pay tribute to him. Of course, you get to see all of these archives and enjoy tons and tons of archives over on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, I encourage you to check that out. That's Grilling JR on YouTube.com. But today, we're going to pay tribute to the late, great Iron Sheik. I think this is the last time that there was a recorded interview between the Iron Sheik and Jim Ross. So check out this interview with Jim Ross and the Iron Sheik. And of course, be sure to catch Jim Ross this Friday on Rampage. And I can't believe it's finally here. Collision. CM Punk is back and JR is going to be there. It's all happening this weekend on Turner Television. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here's the Iron Sheik talking to the one and only Jim Ross.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Ross Report. I'm Jim Ross. Thank you very much for downloading our podcast here today. Program. You've been waiting. You know who's here. The one and only Iron Sheik. Sheiky, baby, in the house. Sheiky. Don't say USA. You can say USA. Cosgrove Vasari. Ali Vasari, when I first met him in 1974, will be our guest today. He is a pop culture icon these days, and he has a great story to tell. And we're going to talk about his movie, the Sheik documentary, with one of the executive directors, Jian Magen, will be with us as well to talk about that, and how The Rock got involved, and some really cool stuff about this film that I have seen, I am in, and that I encourage you to watch. I have no financial stake in it whatsoever. It's but I have so much respect for Cosgrove. I've known him for so I knew him when he was slim and had hair. So there's that. We'll have so we'll talk to Sheik in a little bit.
The Ross Report with Jim Ross.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here this week on the Ross Report, as I have mentioned, I will be talking to the Iron Sheik in a few minutes. Not right now, but a few minutes. Because first I want to talk to Jian Magen of Toronto. He and his brother have made a phenomenal movie about the Sheik. And they also have an interesting relationship with him on a personal level. And first of all, Jian, welcome to the Ross Report. Thank you for being here. And
thank you for having us. Thank you so much, Mr. Ross.
Oh, you bet. You bet. And I wish you guys would call me JR. I feel like you're talking to my father. But nonetheless, you are you the executive producer of this film or co-executive producer?
That's right. I'm one of them. Myself, my twin brother, and three buddies kind of put this project together on a very personal basis level for all of us. We kind of just went out on a mission, a bunch of 20-somethings with no experience in the film game and a camera crew, and we went all in and rolled the dice on this.
That's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to go all in, and that's you never know. It's like doing anything. People talk about things they want to do, then you do them because tomorrow's not guaranteed, as we say here. This film, how long did it take you to convince Cosgrove to agree to do it, and then how long did it take you to make this movie?
There was never a real lack of confidence from Cos to allow us into his life because we had the history with our families knowing each other for forever. So he knew that we weren't going to do anything to disrespect him, and we had good intentions, and there was nothing against shoot videos or whatever, but that wasn't the goal, and so he totally allowed us in to do what we needed to do. However, what we needed to do, we didn't know what would become of this project, and we set out on a trip to Atlanta in 2000, and this whole thing didn't get completed till last year. So that's an 8-year period of filming and interviews and cutting and story changing, and in that time, so much has happened to him, and so much has happened to us with him, and in the end, the right story, I believe, was told.
I agree. I was in that film, as some know, and I have seen it, and I liked it a lot, and certainly encourage people to check it out. And we'll tell you all about that, how to get it, because you should get it. If you like history, you like documentaries, you like wrestling, this is a great movie. And 8 years to make. My first two marriages didn't last 8 years. So that's a hell of a long time to make a movie. Now the backstory is that your father and Cosgrove, the Iron Sheik, Cosgrove Vasari, were childhood friends. Cosgrove, as we all know, was a great champion wrestler, one of the greatest wrestlers ever from Iran. Your father was the national table tennis champion, and in the sports facility for the Iranian prodigy athletes, your father and Cosgrove met and became best friends. Is that kind of it in a nutshell?
That is exactly how it is. They grew up training in the same gym together. Athletics in Iran was everything at the time. It was the only thing that mattered to Iranian males and females. But for the men, it was wrestling. It was ping pong. It was weightlifting. It was grappling. It was a big part of the culture. And so they grew up together, best friends, and they both immigrated, similar times. My dad to Canada and Cos to the U.S. And with no internet or email, that was the end of their friendship. There was no connection. They had, lost touch. And when we were 3 or 4 years old, we were just playing in front of the TV, and wrestling so happened to be on by accident. And our mother ran into the room and yelled at us to change the channel because someone was yelling in Farsi, like really bad language, using false language. And we were just like playing with the cars or whatever. And then she dropped the pot in her hand, which stunned us. I'll never forget the moment, and said, "That's your dad's friend. That's your daddy's best friend." And, just at the time, it's like the early 1980s, anyone you would know on TV, is, it's almost like surreal. So next thing you know, somehow, some way, my father got a hold of, maybe the gardens and the promoters, the Tunnies, and somehow got reconnected with the Sheik. And next thing you know, for the next 7 years of our lives, every 3 to 4 months, when the WWF came to town, my father and sister would go and pick up the Sheik and whoever else he was rolling with that day, whether it was Volkov or Neidhart or Don Morocco or whoever, and they would pile into the car, and we would take them to and from the shows, from the airport to the hotel, and then they would all come back to our house for a massive feast that my mom took a week to cook.
Wow. That's nice. That sounds like an Owen Hart story. That's
Jim, JR, her mother was an excellent cook, and then that day is always after match, father invited the boys at their house, and her mother, and it was excellent cook, and making big dinner for all the boys we went over there. And Pajman and Jian very young that day. Yes, sir.
Well, we've just been joined by the Iron Sheik, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what's going to happen here on this show or live. You never know when we're taping this thing live. Koz, how are you feeling today? You feeling good?
JR, I'm just hanging there. Sometimes knee bother me, ankle bother me, back many years for wrestling, but now I'm better because I quit all bad stuff. I had no smoke, no drink too much, and nothing else. But it's still a lot of damage because for our business wrestling. But I'm just hanging there. One day good, one day bad, and try to make it.
Yeah, you're very mentally tough. You've gone through a lot of things in your life that would challenge anyone. Leaving your home country, I have respect for everyone's country, but I would feel very brokenhearted if I had to move from my home. And you moved from your home to escape, basically, right?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I come to Minnesota. My coach, his name was Mr. Alan Rice, Olympic coach. We went together in Munich, Germany. And my team was 5 years AAU champion. They called Minnesota Wrestling Club. And Mr. Alan Rice was head coach. I was his assistant. And my team was the best in the country for Greco-Roman. And to them, I've been 68, 69, 70 to 71, 4 years. My team was AAU champion. And a coach was Mr. Alan Rice.
That's great success. And then you also coached the United States Olympic team, or assistant coach there, right?
Yes, sir. Assistant coach for Munich, Germany. I come first AAU champion, but I had only green card. I was not citizen.
Right.
But they take me assistant coach in the Munich for maybe my team, because most of the boys from my team, Gary Alexander, Pat Marcy, Larry Leiden, all the boys from Minnesota come Greco-Roman champion. And then we went all to Munich Olympic game, and then come back after Munich 72. I turned pro 73, which is I started over there with Mr. Verne Gagne.
Did Verne recruit you, or did Verne come to you and say, hey, would you be interested in becoming a pro wrestler, or did you go to the Verne's office and say, I'd like to get in the business? How did it work?
Well, Mr. Alan Rice take it to his office, introduce to Mr. Gagne, and anytime my team come first place, Mr. Gagne invite the team to his TV and put all the amateur boys over and his TV. Right. And then I watched the wrestling on television. I said, maybe someday after Olympic Munich, I come. Then Mr. Alan Rice take me to this office, and I tell him I want to come be a professional wrestling. And that camp was Ric Flair, Camp Patera, Jim Brunzeller, Greg Gagne, and Bob Brugger. He passed away, and myself. It was 6 together. We started in the with Mr. Gagne.
Did Verne try to blow you up or run you off? Did he challenge you?
No. And Verne was in excellent shape his time. He was all college champion. His time he was one of the best in the America for college. But I come different timing. But we were cut together. That's because he noticed I deserved to come from, because he had a lot of respect for me, and we've been together. We locked the door. We practiced together. Nobody see it. So, and after that, he respect me. He said, "You come for. I help you. You come for." But he was good himself. His time.
I think one of the reasons he probably liked you so much, Cos, is that he couldn't stretch you. So he really likes you.
Right, he cannot stretch me. That's because he respect me, and same as Billy Robinson, and then we started over there. But Billy Robinson was good, Mr. Gagne was good. Yes, Rich Camp Patera, Ric Flair, Jim Brunzeller, Greg Gagne. But the Khosrow Vaziri come, different situation.
Yeah, I hear you. Somebody's got to be the bull of the woods, the alpha male in the wrestling room. It's going to be somebody. Now, you mentioned Billy Robinson. Did he help train you, or did you work with him much, or what was your relationship with Billy Robinson? Because he's also known as a very tough guy, just like you, and he had unique wrestling training from Wigan in England at the Snake Pit, which puts out a lot of tough guys. How did you and Billy Robinson coexist?
Well, Billy was 240 pounds. I was 185 pounds. Billy, he cannot do nothing up position. He cannot do nothing down position. And he told me, go down now. I want to show you something. And he jumped in the air with the knee, and he hit me my knee, and he tried to hurt me. And he said, that's professional way. So, but amateur way, shooting ways, he didn't. He cannot take me down. He cannot pen me. But he said, "No, you go down, and I want to show you something professional." And he jumped in the air, and he come with his knee, and he hit my toe, and my toe was sore for maybe 1 week. But I didn't quit. I come back. And then after that, I didn't trust him. I have to watch him all the time. And I didn't give him my body to him in case, I don't want to, again, he take one cheap, man. But Billy was good. Don't get me wrong. Billy was a good competitor and liar in our business. Billy Robinson was an excellent shooter. He make everybody exhausted except Iron Sheik.
JR, the story, I think, Sheik's referring to, I think it came out on the internet shortly after Mr. Robinson passed away, where it was said that Billy Robinson took down the Sheik in front of all the boys, and I think Sheik was just trying to clarify that story that was said a few months back.
It never occurred, right?
Right.
Well, hey.
Yeah, Billy was good. Mr. Gagne was good compared to a lot of, our business, a lot of boys, shooting background. That was excellent for that time, yes.
Was Billy Robinson in Danny Hodges' class as it relates to shooters?
No, Danny Hodge, high class. Danny Hodge and Carol Gotch, compared to Billy, they was much better.
Wow. But they're all tough guys.
Yeah, Danny Hodge, yeah.
I tell people that Danny Hodge is one of the great shooters of all time, if not the greatest in the pro wrestling business. They look at me in astonishment because he was not a great big man, maybe 220, 225 maybe, but he was extraordinary. Would you not agree with that?
Excellent. He was excellent shape. He was heavier than me. I was 180, 190 pounds. Then he was 220. I worked out with Danny Hodge. I worked out with Carol Gotch. I worked out with Billy Robinson and Mr. Gagne. But Danny Hodge was the best.
Wow, that's amazing. Hey, let me ask you a question. When you were in the first territory after you trained with Verne, he sent you down to work for Leroy McGurk and Bill Watts, right?
Yes, sir. I come to the Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
That time, office was in Tulsa, you know. And,
Right, yeah.
And then that in the office, God bless him, Mr. Leroy McGurk, and another man, I forgot his name.
Oni Wiki Wiki.
Exactly. And Oni was there, and then her daughter, Leroy McGurk's daughter, I forgot her name.
Mike.
She was come.
Mike McGurk. Mike. Her name was
Mike. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. and that was my first territory after Minnesota. I come to Tulsa.
You're a big baby face there. Here in Oklahoma with this Iranian guy, no turban, no heel, no mustache to speak of, and you were a baby face because you travel with Hodge, and if you hadn't been a baby face, McGurk and whoever else was watching wouldn't have wanted you to travel together because the kayfabe. So nonetheless, I remember you come to my store in Westville, you guys passing through, and that was you guys are traveling partners.
Exactly. I traveled with Danny all the time, and then referee was Usher, right?
Yeah, Jerry Usher.
Jerry Usher. We drive all the way from New Orleans all the way to Oklahoma City. Long drive, but we love the visit. We did it.
Oh, I know.
And Jerry Usher. Yeah, Jerry Usher was the referee. I don't know if still he live or no, but he was to take me around and with Danny Hodge, and I had a great time over there and learned the business about pro more, and it teach me more about pro. And my good friend was Mr. Danny Hodge. Yes,
he was a great guy, still is for that matter. Let me ask you something, Cos. You when you were in that territory for Leroy McGurk, and you were just getting started. I don't remember you being drinking anything, maybe a beer or something. I know you didn't do any drugs then. Where was it that you seemed to have made that wrong turn, and the temptation to do alcohol and drugs became available to you? Where were you when in what territory, or where did that temptation, kind of sneak into your life?
I was 175 pound, 180 pound. I started in Minnesota, and we used to travel from Minnesota to the Winnipeg, from Minneapolis to the Denver, Colorado, Chicago, and the boys told me, Castro, Olympic is over. Have a drink, one beer with us. Have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that. And that time, because I was a Muslim and I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do nothing but traveling with the boys, long to drive from Chicago to Minneapolis, from Winnipeg, Minneapolis. And the boys said, Olympic is over. Have a one beer with us. So and then I said, they said, you're too skinny. You have to gain weight a little bit. If you want to be a wrestler, pro wrestler, Mr. Gagne tell me, you have to be at least 220, and then you can work baby face or you can work heel. So I started with one beer, and then a little bit I come to New York with another friend, God bless him, Don Morocco, and then Superflaw Snuka in Oregon. I went to Oregon. Superflaw told me, hey, Shiggy baby, Olympic is over. Have a little bit beer with me. And Superflaw give me a little bit beer, a little bit of smoke, a little bit that, a little bit that. And I started on the road in the Oregon with Don Morocco from Hawaii was New York. And then I turned out to be one of the boys. But from bottom of heart, I really didn't like it. And to them, I turned to be really a little bit bad, especially with the accident Jim Duggan. We make the world news, and that cost me $1 million and lose my respect. Next to Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon had a lot of respect for me, and he really cared about me. Senior, God bless him, and Junior. But after that, bad days with the accident in New Jersey, and just my life changed. But now I'm a different person, and I pay for my due. But thanks to the God, list, I'm talking to you guys. I'm here.
Well, we're happy for you to be here too. And so the long trips in the AWA, you'd have the boys wanted you to have a beer with them, on and on. Your peers, peer pressure, kids, caused the great Iron Sheik to break down, and have a few beers. Then there's the New York, happens to be New York territory because it was the next one. And then they heard the story about John Morocco traveling with Kaz going to Portland, and Jimmy Snuka try a few more things. Hey, it's very easy to like alcohol or drugs because you think it makes you feel better, but it really doesn't. Kaz, did you ever feel guilty because of your religion or because of being a parent that you were you had taken the drugs or you had been drinking more than you should?
Like I said, I was in North Carolina, Charlotte, and Oregon, and I just try to be sociable with the boys, and I don't want to turn their hand down, but also it was bad for me to be a Muslim. Religious men come from whole country, be all 3 times All-America, AAU champion, assistant coach for Munich Olympic game in Germany, and then all of a sudden, I was kind of ashamed of myself, and especially with AXA, I make the world news, and I was kind of very embarrassed. Very bad feeling next to Mr. McMahon, Senior and Junior, and Jim. I mean, another man was George Scott and Mr. Gagne. They never thought I'd be like that. But the too much long trip was a bad changing for me. I wish I didn't change, but too late now.
I understand. But the good thing is you're still here. And there's plenty of time, hopefully God willing, that you can continue to change and you can continue to get better as long as you try. You always had great heart, and if you had no heart, there would be no championships. Champions have heart, and you're a champion.
Absolutely, JR. You know, I pay for my due. I work hard all my life, and cost me $1 million to I lost. But still, I'm just completely changed now. And my wife, she knows I'm killing now. Only once a while, a cold beer, nothing else. And I get physically and mentally, I'm a little bit much better now than I was on the road. But now, even it's maybe too late, but still I'm surviving.
Yeah, it's not too late. It's not, as long as you're breathing, it's not too late. I want to know, Kaz, are you happy with the film?
Oh, Megan boys, they did an excellent job, and the producer, Mike, and Jake, and then they did an excellent job. That Megan boys, and they did an excellent job. I'm very, very happy, and that is true story about me. Yes, sir.
Jian, I want to ask you, do you think that I watched this film twice? And there were some moments in there that were very uncomfortable because you could tell that the drugs had gotten the best of Kaz. And I never saw too many men that could hang with him athletically. But it shows you the danger of drug abuse. And I felt for him. It really it got me punched me in the gut because I didn't want to see him that way. And since you're a little kid, and now getting all this footage of this man that's sick, how did you handle that?
Well, it was definitely something that was mind blowing for us because like I said before, this man was our childhood hero. Just no different an influence in my life than my own father. Probably the reason I am in the entertainment business with my brother. And we did this whole documentary, project. Like I said, we weren't in the film business. We did this because we love this man, and we wanted to honor him and do something for his legacy, because we knew the stories about him being the Shah of Iran's bodyguard and training with the Olympic gold medalist Takhti in Iran. And, we always looked at all those things as his real accomplishments, and on top of the fact that, he won the title and helped launch Hulkamania and whatnot. But our goal was to do something for him, for his kids and for his future. And at the same time, we also knew that, things were a little out of control. We didn't know how out of control, because we weren't in Atlanta. We'd have him come to Toronto and be a part of some of the entertainment and wrestling events we would put on here. And we knew that he was drinking and partying a bit, but we didn't know what it was like at home, because we were in Toronto. And at the time, so many wrestlers were dying. It was like an epidemic in those early 2000s, mid-2000s. All the guys that we watching in the 80s. And so we just went out and said, let's do this. And when we were doing this, we were mind blown by the lifestyle he was living, and it was surreal. We couldn't even believe the amounts and the excessiveness of the drugs. Unfortunately, it was ridiculous.
Are you talking an 8-ball a day or more than that of cocaine?
Well, I wasn't there every day, lived in Toronto, but, the first time we went to Atlanta, like literally knowing nothing, hired a camera crew, and the producers were, we had all these line notes for a story that we were going to, interviews and questions, and the entire time he was under the influence. And then every time that ran out, he had a buddy he was doing it with, the driver, we can call him, go and get more. And, I was there for the purposes of the doc, and so, yeah, we were there, and he was mic'd, and we were filming it, but while, the people filming it were like, this is gold, I was like, yeah, it's gold if you want to make a story that's going to completely, ruin his legacy, right? And so we weren't looking to do a beyond the mat type of deal. Although it was a great film, we didn't want to really. We knew that there was more to his life than for him to be remembered as a druggie, and so we didn't do anything with the footage. We sat on it for a year or two, and we tried again 2 years later, and again it was like he was a madman. It was what a lot of the people that saw online, with him and going nuts on YouTube with Brian Blair or whatever, like that was that era, and it was out of control. And the reality is that he was masking some real deep, sad, feelings from the loss of his daughter. Right?
Sure, of course. Yeah, I can understand that. We'll come back and talk more. Pick this up. Before we go to the break, tell us, for the fans that listen, there are a lot of them listening around the world, and we thank them for downloading the Ross Report every week and making it one of the most listened to podcasts of any category in the world today, and that's thanks to the fans. But I highly encourage you folks to check out this movie. And Jian, tell the fans listening how they can access your film. How can they watch it?
So at this time, the film is available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and will be future release on more VOD platforms. But those are the main ones: iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. Will be coming out on DVD later in the year with some bonus footage and bonus features. But right now, if you're itching to watch the story of the legend, you can see it on those 3 platforms.
Amazon, iTunes, and what was the last one?
Google Play.
Google Play. Folks, we're going to take a real quick break. We're talking to the incredible Iron Sheik. It took him 8 years to make his movie, and he's still up walking around. He's healthier than he's been in a long time, but he's here with us, and we'll come back and talk more with the Iron Sheik and Jian Magen, one of the co-executive producers of the Sheik movie. So stay with us and listen closely to what you're about to hear.
This is the Ross Report.
And we're back here on the Ross Report. Thank you all for being with us. Thanks for hitting that beloved download button and for checking out Podcast One, podcastone.com. If you're listening on iTunes, we thank you. Remember, if you subscribe to our podcast, it will automatically download into your device. It costs you nothing. Subscribing is free. There's not much left in this world that's free, but subscribing to the Ross Report is free. You can do that at iTunes. And when you subscribe, it helps us accumulate our numbers, and it helps us with our advertisers. And it costs you nothing. So it's a good deal. It's a win-win for you guys. It's a win-win for us. You won't miss an episode. We're talking to Jian Magen with the incredible Iron Sheik about the movie. What is the official name of the movie?
The Sheik.
The Sheik. Yeah, isn't it amazing? The Cosgrove, everybody that plays a Middle Easterner is always a Sheik. There's no common guys in pro wrestling that are from, Egypt or Iran or anywhere else. All you guys are Sheiks. Everybody's a Sheik, It seems like, right?
I'm the real first Iranian, the Iron Sheik, because in Middle East we have a lot of Sheik, oil well, and Arabian, but the Persia of Iran, we not Arab, we are Persian, same German race. But I'm the only Iranian and the Iron Sheik, Mr. Gagne, wife from Mary Gagne. He was Olympic Montreal Olympic game, Mr. Gagne. I don't want to work anymore by name Ali Waziri or Khosrow Waziri. You have some name for me? And Mrs. Gagne said, yeah, I give you the name, the Iron Sheik. And then that was Mrs. Gagne idea. So I'm the first Iranian to come by name the Iron Sheik. And that was Mrs. Gagne idea.
Yeah, well, Verne was a very smart man and had an amazing territory for years and years. The AWA library is owned by WWE, and I'm excited about someday watching some of those old AWA events on the WWE network. Some really cool footage.
Friends, family, and loved ones, I bet you haven't purchased a Father's Day gift yet, have you? Not to fear, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming are here. I'm talking about our friends at Manscaped. They're saving the day yet again with the total package for the father figure in your life this year. It's time to upgrade his game from the waist to the face with this exclusive offer. Have him join the 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code JimRoss at manscaped.com. Let's start with the ultimate Father's Day MVP, the Performance Package 4.0. Inside it, of course, you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0, the brand new Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, the Performance Boxer briefs, and of course a travel bag to hold all the goodies. And man, we can't forget about the Moneymaker. You see, Manscaped has absolutely changed the game with their brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. This includes the brand new Beard Hedger trimmer, the beard shampoo and conditioner, the beard oil, the beard balm, and 2 free gifts with their signature beard comb and scissors. And man, we all know dads love their comfort. If his grooming routine is already dialed in, be sure to hook him up with Manscaped's Boxers 2.0. They are, without a doubt, the best boxers for men of all ages. Whether he's mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, or golfing in the sun, these moisture-wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code JimRoss at manscaped.com. That's
Who's that? Jim Ross?
Jim Ross. Yeah, that's you. Get 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Just use the code JimRoss, Make this Father's Day one he won't forget with Manscaped. That's manscaped.com, 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code Jim Ross. Guys, you've been hearing about Blue Chew for a while now. If you haven't tried it already, why not? BlueChew.com is helping guys needing extra confidence in the bedroom because of things like age, stress, or anxiety, and they can help you too. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. And now they also have vardenafil mint-flavored chewables with the active ingredient in Levitra and Staxin. Blue Chew's tablets help men combat all forms of ED. Because Blue Chew is an online prescription service, that means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversation, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door too, all in a discreet package. Now the process is simple. You'll sign up at BlueChew.com, you'll consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part? It's all done online. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problems here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. They prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy too. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code JR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. The promo code is JR to receive your very first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast.
And some of the great stars in the history of the business came through the AWA. So it was a major territory and a great place for you to learn and break in. Do you remember Ric Flair when he was, you guys were training? Did you think he was going to be special? He and Steamboat and some of those guys, did they compete with you well? What were your thoughts on those young men at that time?
Well, at that time, Rick was over 300 pounds, and his body was Camputero, and I don't want to say anything, but Rick himself, no, he was really around the 350, 375, but having to do it maybe with testosterone, whatever. But I have a lot of respect for the Rick because he training, he lost weight, and he can come excellent shape. He saw the company to go to the Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Mr. George Scott was the booker over there, and he get his break in the Charlotte. But Rick, from the start, he was overweight, but we train him and we push him and we make him exhausted. And he lost weight. He became one of a great worker, great talker, and he was in the Charlotte. He became the best. But the start he was overweight.
Yeah, I heard he was well over 300 pounds at one point in his young life. So, Jean, how did you? When I watched the movie, I was. As I said, I was shocked at some of the footage, and then I was also pleasantly surprised at some of the folks that were on there, especially The Rock. The Rock had so many wonderful things to say about Kaz. Was so entertaining on the movie. How did you get The Rock to make a special appearance on this film?
Towards the end of production, we were kind of wrapping this thing up. We got together with the producers, Stu Stone and Jake and Mike, and we said, what can we do to just take this thing over the top? And, I was speaking to the Sheik, and I just threw it out there. I said, what's your relationship with The Rock? And next thing you know, he told me that his wife, Carol, used to babysit Rock when Rocky was on the road. And
in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I had no idea that was even that had happened. So we had reached out to Rock's manager and explained that we're making this project, and he said he'd had to speak to him. And within a day, the manager called back and said, "Look, Rock's busy, and we knew that. If you guys can get your butts down to Florida in the next 5 days, we can get you a 5-10 minute interview." And so we jumped on it, obviously, and we'd gone down there and waiting, and he was doing media that day for one of his films, and there was probably a lineup of 20, 30 different people, trying to get interviews, and in one of those like film screening rooms, they just all come in one at a time to do their interviews. So we were there, and he came in, and we thanked him for his time, and we had said, we only have 5-10 minutes, so we'll get right to it. And he stopped everything. He said, I don't care who told you 5-10 minutes. This is for the Sheik. We're going to go as long as you guys need.
Wow, that's great.
And so we had prepared a list of questions, and if we were going to get through them fast, we would ask the other questions. But the fact that we had all this time and he just kept on answering the questions, we got through pretty much all of the questions that we had written, and it was just probably the biggest coup that we had for our doc. And he was a mensch, he literally put us over and not us over, he put the Sheik over, and that's just probably a true testament to their relationship. And another person that was integral in that whole thing was his mom, Atta Johnson, who probably the nicest woman I've ever spoken to and met in my life. She was so supportive of us in the project, and between the two of them, I don't know where we would be without the two of them in this project.
Rocky is a great guy. He's always been a good-hearted human being, and his mother's just spectacular. If The Rock is the great one, Ada is the great mom, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Cause that's a pretty big deal to get The Rock in your movie. I thought it was great.
Exactly, and especially he said he learned a jabroni from Iron Sheik. That's why I respect the young man, because I was the first man I called the people jabroni my young day, tough when I was. And The Rock is a very honest man, so he tell everybody he learned a jabroni from Iron Sheik. I love that man, and he's really a very honest man. And also, I have a lot of respect for the new generation in the WWE. They learn from Iron Sheik mistake and Hacksaw Jim Duggan mistake. They're all new generation. They are good shape. They are killing. I watch the match every Monday Raw and every Friday and recently every Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm proud to the all new generation. They learn from Iron Sheik, make and hack some mistake. They are excellent shape.
I want to jump in just for a second, JR. Whenever we go with the Sheik to any of the WWE events, the old school Raws or whatnot, I'm so impressed by the guys who would show him the respect that he deserves. Guys like CM Punk, Bray Wyatt, Cena, Cesaro, whoever, would always come up to the Sheik and give them like ultimate respect. And I think it goes to show the kind of impact that he's had on the current locker room's careers.
Yeah, I agree. The Sheik, see, the thing that helped make WWE great always was the talent that came there and that they developed. When the territory stopped running, it made it harder to find great stars. So where do you go look? You go look in amateur wrestling. And some of the greatest pro wrestlers in the history of the business have been former amateur wrestlers. So I believe that philosophy still holds true today, that you get a very charismatic guy that is a tough athlete, that's a successful amateur wrestler, that has an aptitude for pro wrestling. Now you got a good shot at finding you a WrestleMania main eventer. Speaking of that, Kaz, what do you think of the biggest dog in the yard right now as we record this in WWE is Brock Lesnar? What's your take on Brock Lesnar if you're scouting him? What do you think of him?
Well, as a matter of fact, I watch him every Monday. Sir Hulk Hogan is there, and also the new champion is Brock Lesnar. He's one of the greatest, one of the best shooter in all America. College gold medal #1, and also great shooter, great performer. But I'll be honest with you, Mr. Ross. He remind myself, my young day, I wish he was too young to become in Minnesota practice with the Iron Sheik or wrestling with the Iron Sheik. That day, he can learn from the real shooter in Minnesota Wrestling Club. But that day, he was not my class. But now, he's the best, he's the greatest, he is an excellent shooter.
Are you saying that back in your day, when you were young and he was young, you could beat him?
Exactly, because I'm talking about 1968, 1970.
Right.
Brock Lesnar was not my class to come in the University of Minnesota, practice with me or wrestling with me, because he knows this. I'm the real that time best shooter. He cannot handle me. But now, today generation, he's younger than me. He's new generation. He's excellent. But my time, I don't think he can handle the Iron Sheik.
There you go. Well,
Jim, you were around. JR, you were around for both guys. If we were doing a fantasy booking, young thoroughbred Khosrow Vaziri and Brock Lesnar, how would you take it?
Well, here's the problem, Kaz. At your peak weight as an amateur in 1968, how much did you weigh?
Oh, I was probably that time 170 pounds.
Okay, so Lesnar's going to outweigh you in his prime, in great shape, by 100 pounds. So all I'm saying is that 100 pounds is a hard obstacle to overcome.
Excellent point. Excellent comeback for me. I know what you're exactly talking. Like I said, at that time he was very young and very light. He cannot handle the 170 pounds because I was bigger, heavier, stronger than him, and more experienced than him. Because that day was my time. But now, today, different situation. It's his time.
I understand.
Like Mr. Bob Backlund, another one of the best. His time was in Minnesota.
He was.
Backlund,
yep.
Myself, that day is exactly different situation.
Yeah, a lot different talents, and it's interesting to see how the talents in your era were trained and how the talents today are being trained. It was a whole different world. You can't compare how wrestlers are trained today versus how they were trained when Khosrow broke in with all the territories he could go to. Because like he said, he went to train in Minnesota, worked a little bit there, then they sent him to McGurk. And where did you go? What territory did you go after McGurk?
Oh, after McGurk, I went to the Portland, Oregon, and Don Owen.
Okay.
God bless him. He was over there, Don Owen, and that was my good friend was a Superfly Suka. He took me around, and Superfly told me, Khosrow, if you want to gain weight, you have to a little bit eat more like me. You have to a little bit have a cup of cold beer. Olympic is over. That's why I started in the over there, and another good friend, Hawaiian man, Don Morocco, in Minnesota and also New York. Slowly, I don't want to turn their hand down, but it was a mistake for me. But after Oklahoma, I went to the Portland, Oregon.
Gotcha.
That's why Superfly was over there.
Okay, yeah, Portland, Oregon. So the point is, back in the day, a wrestler had plenty of territories that he could go and learn and earn a few bucks and learn his business, learn the skill, the craft. Tell me about Bruno and the football players.
Well, we was in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Pacific Arena, and a lot of big names was over there that night, like Andre Giant and my partner Nicola, and there's a lot of all of the WWE talent, big name was over there. And then in the hall, and that night Bruno was the agents in the Pittsburgh Arena. Bruno was the agents, and 2-3 people come in the hall. They wants to come in the locker room with the boys. Bruno tell them, no, tonight is wrestling is not football. You cannot go in the locker room to talk to the boys or meeting. You guys have to leave in the hall. And then one of them slapped Bruno, and I saw that. And I didn't change my clothes. I just come back after my match. I had my boots on, my trunk on. I run like deer. And I give the guys a receipt back, and so hard. And then we push him, and he blocked the door. He don't want to go. And I give him back to Billy's suplex. I take him down, I kick his face, and he crawl. And they left the locker room. And Bruno never forgot about that. And then he hugged me, and become very, very, very good, close friends and stuff.
So you beat up a Pittsburgh Steeler. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, there was a 2 against, and I saw that. Bruno was edges that night, and the guy sucker punched Bruno. I saw that. I run like deer. I was excellent shape that time, like I said. Before different. So, and then they get the message, and they left the locker room after that.
Well, no more trouble. Cosgrove took care of the issue with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I bet those guys would, if you knew the names of those players, they probably wouldn't admit. Bruno may know who they were, but he probably, knowing Bruno's such a nice guy, he probably wouldn't want to embarrass him at this stage of the game. Well, Cos, have you actually sat down and watched your movie? And if so, what did you think after watching it yourself? Did you watch it by yourself? Did you watch it with your wife or your children or your grandchildren? How did you first watch this movie?
As a matter of fact, I went to Toronto, and for the first time, Megan boys invite me over to Toronto. Megan boys, AG1, father, mother, and my wife and myself in the Toronto movie station, and I saw it for the first time over there. It's shock. Because they did an excellent job, and then I'm very happy. And Jake and Mike and producer, everybody, and Megan boys, they did an excellent job. I would get shocked. I was really happy. My wife was happy. And I want to say, as long as I live, always I remember the Megan boys and father, mother, and they did an excellent job for me. And also, I want to say to all my wrestling fans and movie fans around the world and America, if they get a chance, they want to watch, they want to find out about Iron Sheik, where he come from, what he did. I think it's an excellent movie. I like it. They did an excellent job.
They did do an excellent job, and I was very proud of the work that they did.
Well, I'll tell you something we all agree on, or at least you and I do. The best shave of your life is with Henson Shaving. I love this product. I'm going to use it forever and ever. It's the last razor I'll ever need. I think you're going to like it too. Henson Shaving is a great company. First of all, they're a family-owned business. I love that. But how about this? This wasn't the original plan. Henson Shaving is an aerospace parts manufacturer. Yeah, you heard me. They've made parts for the International Space Station and Mars rover, and now they're using their aerospace-grade CNC machines to make metal razors that are just 0.0013 inches. That's less than the thickness of a human hair. It means a secure and stable blade that gives you a vibration-free shave. The razor also has built-in channels to evacuate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible. You see, Henson Shaving wanted to make the best razor, not the best razor business. You see, a lot of other razor businesses, they're gonna put you in a plastic razor and sign you up for a subscription and have proprietary blades and then switch it out every year or two. So there's some planned obsolescence and you got to buy the new one. None of that exists here with Henson. This is the same type dual edge razor that your grandfather used, except this has the benefits of new school tech. Those CNC machines are getting this dude down to 0.0013 inches. So it's the best of the old school feel, but with all the new school tech. But my favorite part about Henson Shaving is not only is it better than what you've been doing as far as your shave experience, it's also cheaper. You see, it's only $3 to $5 to replace the blades. Not $3 to $5 a week, not $3 to $5 a month, not $3 to $5 a quarter, $3 to $5 a year. How do you beat that? Let's say no to subscriptions and say yes to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/JR to pick the razor for you and use the code JR, and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just be sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to HENSONSHAVING.com/JR and use the promo code JR. Jim, you've had a chance to use this razor. This is as good as it gets. I think you're going to love it. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. HensonShaving.com is where you want to go /JR. Okay, guys, let's take a time out right now and give you a little peek behind the curtain. JR is feeling better than ever. He's traveling just like he was back in the good old days. Now with AEW expanding that schedule, how does he keep doing it? Every single day? Well, he starts every day with one scoop of delicious AG1. It really does check all the boxes. He's going to have more mental clarity. He's going to sleep better. He's just going to feel like he's got more energy, improved digestion. Literally, it checks all the boxes. You see, AG1 replaces your multivitamin, your probiotic, and everything else in one easy and delicious drinkable habit. That's right, a drinkable habit. Think of AG1 as like your foundational nutritional supplement. It's going to deliver comprehensive nutrients to whole body health. Now, let me just run through what that means. I mean, it's getting rid of all your minerals, all your prebin probiotics, all your adaptogens, and it's even got a greens blend. All of this exists in just one simple scoop of water. It's never been ever easier than that. All told, you're talking like 75 different high quality vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source superfoods. And listen, let's be honest, as we get older, we got to start taking better care of ourselves, but it can be a lot to think, all right, I got to take this in the morning and this in the afternoon and this in the evening. What if it was just one scoop and a cup of water every day? That's what AG1 does for you. And don't just take our word for it. These cats have got like more than 7,000 5-star reviews. And I have to be honest, when my wife first introduced me to the idea, I thought, yeah, but I bet it tastes, well, not so good. I was wrong. It tastes great. It makes you feel good. You will feel more productive. I challenge you to just try it. Just see what you think. You see, AG1 was created in 2010. They've helped millions of people get their morning started on a healthier foundation ever since. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. I just can't recommend it enough. If you're looking for a simpler, effective investment in your health, I want you to try AG1. As a matter of fact, we'll get you 5 free AG1 Travel Packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Just go right now to drinkag1.com/JR. That's drinkag1.com/JR. Check it out. You'll feel better. You'll sleep better. You'll be more productive. Man, it's everything you're looking for. It's drinkag1.com/JR.
Jian, well, how were you got the big hit, the big coup there with The Rock? I know you flew out to Oklahoma to interview me, which I was appreciative of the opportunity. How were the other guys to deal with? You know, you had Jake Roberts in the movie. Jake's always a great soundbite. He's always got something interesting to say.
Yeah, he definitely had conviction and had a history with the Sheik, right? And similar issues, and was very candid about them. He kind of ended up being, the voice of the demon in the film. When you see it, you'll understand what I'm saying. But he was very pleasant, and yourself, we want you out and legitimize the project. There was a lot of guys who stepped up. A lot of guys who would wish that they could have been in it, but the schedule didn't work out, and then there were guys who unfortunately turned it down, and that's just the way things go. But in time, I think the right people and a different group of people than you would see in a WWE type of DVD or video stepped up to the plate and gave a raw and real approach to this man's amazing life and career.
What do you think Seth Green added to it?
Well, so Seth Green is, very successful in his field with his robot chicken, and he had the Sheik on a couple of his episodes actually, and I think in describing where the Sheik is at right now with his new resurgence on social media. I think that brought a level of legitimacy to what the Sheik is right now online, which is a big part of his presence. You know, he's his Twitter account is growing by the thousands every day, and and that's what's keeping him relevant. And I think Seth added to that, and just added a different level of star power. Like, you get all these wrestlers, and then all of a sudden, Seth Green on the screen, and that's kind of like the uniqueness of the Iron Sheik in a certain way. He's got a very colorful life, and different people, have different things to say and different experiences of what they interpreted of watching him growing up as kids.
Well, Cosgrove's also has a great sense of humor, and that's kind of goes understated because sometimes people, you got a heavy accent, people miss something, but he's got a good sense of humor. Cosgrove, what kind of events are you looking forward to being involved in the future? Because I know you're thanks to the Magen boys, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Toronto, they own the Belly Buster submarine sandwich place, and at the Belly Busters in Toronto, they sell JR's barbecue sauce and ketchup and mustard.
Right.
So you can drop by there if you're in TO and get a great sandwich, and then pick up some JRs without having to pay for the shipping and the freight and all that good stuff. So, because what are you what's on the radar for you?
Like I said, especially yourself on the movie, talking about Iron Sheik and Muhammad Ali was on Mr. McMahon, and the greatest champion Iranian, Ghulam Raza Takhti, was this. That's why I left Iran, because of the Ghulam Raza Takhti, and then I think it was an excellent job through a story about Iron Sheik since Iran, Ghulam Raza Takhti, and Habibis, and come to America, to the, just to me it was a really amazing job, excellent, and I'm very happy about that.
Good, Jean. What are you guys going to do? You guys and the Sheik going to do? What's the next adventure for you?
Well, right now his roasts are pretty much selling out across the country wherever we go. He's done the top comedy clubs in the States, Los Angeles, New York, the Comedy Store, Caroline's, and we'll probably do something WrestleMania weekend. So that's probably going to happen. Just figuring it out. But, the Sheik has got some gas left in the tank. He may not be able to get around so much, but we're working on that. We're working on getting him tuned up and getting a surgery. He also just got a brand new scooter that's hilarious, and so on his scooter is going to be causing some ruckus. But there has been quite a bit of approaches to our team from different MMA fighters, to be honest with you, that have expressed interest in the Sheik, teaching them, coaching them, being in his corner, being in a fighter's corner or two. And I think if we can get around to it and the right person with the right attitude, you could possibly see Sheik doing some MMA coaching.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's endless opportunities with the Iron Sheik. He's like the Betty White of wrestling. Like he's done so much, and believe it or not, I think you're going to see him for years to come, and just continue to entertain the fans. And there's just unlimited potential. There's offers every day for different, opportunities, and we're going to do our best to make sure that the Sheik's legacy is maintained and lives on forever.
That's good. Hey, Kaz, that's great planning, and you guys have done a good job in helping reinvent the Iron Sheik. I haven't made it to one of those roasts yet. I got to do that one of these days. I hear great things about them. Cosgrove, what do you think about CM Punk, the wrestler and former WWE superstar, leaving the wrestling business and getting into the UFC and mixed martial arts? How do you think he's going to do?
Well, to be honest with you, as far as I know, CM Punk was a WWE. He had a great time, great pushing, top man. But now since he left, he's in the different organization, different thing. I think you can ask that from Jian can answer better. But as far as I know, and you know yourself, and he had a good push in the WWE, and especially with that Paul Heyman, great manager. He did great. He did great in the WWE. But now, I don't know about in the UFC what he can do. I haven't heard anything or have anything. And good luck to him. But as far as I know, he had the best time in the WWE.
Yeah, he had a great.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, he had a great.
Sorry.
He had a great run, and he made a lot of money, and he was very successful in WWE. He was a credit to the business while he was there. And did terrifically well. I think he got a little bit burned out, and he always wanted to try to be a mixed martial artist. He wasn't getting any younger, so I applaud the fact that he made the decision when he did. I'm like Cosgrove. I have no idea how well he's going to do until I see him fight, but he'll be in shape. He'll be prepared, and so, you know, Jean, I don't know what your take on it is, or if you guys have talked about it.
Well, I think, you know, he's a hard worker in anything he does. He's got conviction, and he goes for it, and that's the biggest challenge in many people. You know, that's the hardest part. So he's got half the battle won. If he puts himself with right people to train him, I don't see why he can't compete on some level. Maybe it would be a good idea to have the Sheik come by his training camp and have him do some of the old school training mechanisms that the Sheik. Maybe CM Punk's the guy that the Sheik should be training for MMA.
That'd be interesting. Hey, that's a soundbite. That's a big story. That'll be worldwide news as well if that were to occur. So Dana White would love that. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Or the Sheik will find his own opponent for CM Punk maybe and train him, and then that'll be a real test of strength.
That's right. That's right. Well, Kaz, I'm glad that you are you're straightened out your life and that you're.
Pleasure for me tonight to talk to you. You remind my young day. We was together in Oklahoma. I never forgot. And God bless you. God bless you, Rock, and all the people that helped in my documentary about my movie. You are one of the nicest men in the sense. You know me. I was killing good, and now I'm happy again to talk to you, and I do my best to, especially now I quit all about the stuff, and Megan Voice helping me, and God bless you. Talk to me tonight, JR, and you have a good night, sir.
Okay, buddy. Good talking to you, Kaz. And, of course, the Sheik movie on sale at iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play, and more platforms coming up, and the Megan brothers put that together. I strongly encourage you to check it out. I loved it. I watched it a couple of times. So iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. And Jean, it's just the Sheik movie, right?
The Sheik, just the Sheik. Hashtag is Sheik movie on Twitter, but you can find it on any of those platforms by just punching in the Sheik, and it should come up under the documentary section.
If you want to follow Kaz on Twitter, do that at your own risk. But the Twitter handle is?
_Iron Sheik.
_Iron Sheik. I follow the Sheik, by the way, and enjoy it. I get a lot of laughs out of it. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys being on, and I wish you nothing but success with the roast and all the other crazy things that are going to be happening. The Sheik has become a pop culture icon. So, Jean and Kaz, thank you. Have a great night, and we'll talk.
Thank you for having us, sir. Thank you so much. This was an amazing night. Thank you so much for all your support as well to the Sheik and to the movie.
I love Cosgrove, and all the fans do as well. Folks, I'll be back with some closing comments. Jian Magen for joining us here this week on the Ross Report. Very interesting conversation with Cosgrove, who obviously has we got Cosgrove on a very good night.
Hey guys, Eric Bischoff here, and just want to call a quick timeout. I want to tell your listeners about what I've been telling everybody at over 83 weeks, quite a while now, about all the cool things that are happening over at adfreeshows.com.
Through strength, support, and faith, one half of TNA's America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris, has persevered, and wrestling is still a big part of his life. And on a brand new series, The False Finish, Chris Harris tells us the story of his amazing journey in his own words.
I was thinking to myself then when that came about, it's hard going through what I went through and not think, would that have happened had I not had a sober head? I mean, I have God looking out for me. Would something like that have happened in any other circumstances? Because Scott D'Amore, I kept in touch with him. He knew about it all. So, and he was so proud of me for doing it. So maybe that had a little piece of it, that maybe that's why the opportunity was there. But just a lot of really great things have happened in the past couple years. And I'm just so thankful and I'm grateful for being in the place I am now.
That's just a small taste of what we've got waiting for you with 4 levels to choose from. See for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.